Introducing a completely redesigned experience that you can sense. And that senses you. The new Dell Latitude laptops bring your work closer to you.
Tonight, P&O sails out of Australia. The famous cruise brand sunk after 92 years.
Breaking exclusive news on the future of your driver's licence.
The Queensland Mayor trying to sack his entire council.
Simple trick to locking in savings on all household bills.
We have your exclusive sneak peek inside the caravan and camping show.
And we're taking you on a tour of Brisbane's biggest penthouse, now up for sale.
This is 9 News Queensland with Andrew Lofthouse and Melissa Downs.
Good evening. One of Australia's best-known cruise lines is sailing into the sunset tonight.
After more than 90 years in Australia, the P&O brand is being scrapped. Its operations to be folded into Carnival Cruises in less than a year.
Boarding the Pacific Explorer in Brisbane, passengers were surprised to hear this P&O cruise could be their last.
I was shocked. I hadn't sort of heard.
Bit shame to see them go, but what can you do, you know? Sign of the times, I suppose.
From next year, the iconic P&O Australia brand will no longer exist, with local operations being taken over by Carnival Cruise Line Australia.
It's a sad day for Australian cruising. They never really fully recovered from COVID. They've been back now for 2 years. There is demand, but I just don't think that they could catch up.
The Pacific Encounter and Pacific Adventure will be rebranded to Carnival, while the Pacific Explorer will be retired in February, destined for the scrapyard like these vessels in Turkey.
I love Dora. She's a nice old ship and she's beautiful inside.
President of Carnival Cruise Line, Christine Duffy, flew into Sydney from the US to break the news. A small number of administrative staff have been made redundant, while crew on the Explorer will be redeployed to other ships in the fleet.
Parent company Carnival Corporation says it's a necessary and strategic decision in the face of increased operating costs. Passengers will be notified in the coming days of any changes to their upcoming bookings.
Sydney Harbour has a new shipping terminal.
For more than 90 years, P&O cruise ships have been a familiar sight on Australian waters.
A new liner on her first voyage.
And as P&O prepares to bid Australia bon voyage, you know they'll be going out in style. Kate Creedon, 9 News.
Breaking news now on a secret government plan for changes to Queensland drivers' licences. State political editor Tim Avia joins us now. Tim, is a licence going to get cheaper?
Well, Melissa, the government has drawn up plans to make that happen. I'm told they were planning to announce driver licence fees will be reduced from 1/3 of their current cost, which means for a 1-year licence you would save around $30, and for a 5-year renewal the savings would be around $65. And your licence could last longer instead of the current 5-year maximum. I understand in the plan there are options to renew for between 6 and 10 years. Meanwhile, for those who don't have a licence, the plan has government photo ID cards and proof of age cards to be halved from just over $77 to $35. Now, the Treasurer's office says tonight they are not going ahead with that plan in the budget, and the Transport Minister's office declined to comment, which makes it likely this plan now will be used as an election announcement instead. The government is set to also reduce the cost of car registration in the budget, but that decision could come with a political cost as well. In a budget focused on cost of living, the price of running a car is one area certain to be targeted. After initially considering freezing the cost of registration, government sources confirm fees will now be slashed, even if the Treasurer was refusing to say so publicly today.
Will you reduce car rego?
All of the details of the budget, revenue, expenditure, capital, all of that will be revealed in the budget.
But introducing rego relief for everyone would be a massive political U-turn. After during the last election campaign, Stephen Miles took a political baseball bat to the LNP's policy to give drivers a $300 rego rebate, arguing it would reward the rich and not the poor.
This policy would give Clive Palmer $45,000, but give my grandma, who is on the pension and does not own a car, not a single cent.
The potential for rego. The government is hell-bent on trying to erase a decade of its history. But Queenslanders, they're not buying it.
The Treasurer will hand down his budget next Tuesday. Tim Avia, 9 News.
Well, straight to Abby Gearan now in the newsroom. Abby, you've got a major update on embattled Townsville Mayor Troy Thompson.
Andrew, he's now calling for the entire Townsville City Council to be dissolved amid what he's labelled a witch hunt against him. Last week, the newly elected mayor admitted on Nine's A Current Affair to misleading voters about his service in the army and also his failure to complete 2 university degrees. He also claimed that he couldn't recall facing criminal charges. Now, all of this led the remaining 10 Townsville City councillors and Premier Stephen Miles to call for his resignation. And tomorrow, those other councillors plan to move a motion of no confidence at their council meeting.
On behalf of the tens of thousands of people whose trust you have broken, and on behalf of the whole nation who is viewing Townsville as a joke right now, please resign.
The only person who can suspend Troy Thompson is the local government minister, that is Megan Scanlon. Melissa, I've spoken to her office this afternoon. She says that she is waiting for the outcome of a CCC investigation into the mayor's conduct before taking any further action.
More to come, Abby. Thank you. The family of 18-year-old bus crash victim Tia Cameron has today broken their silence as new video sheds light on the final moments leading up to her death.
In an exclusive interview with 9 News, Tia's partner speaks of his heartbreak after the man behind the wheel was charged by police.
This is 18-year-old Tia Cameron recording her own final moments, showing off her beauty treatment in a video message to her boyfriend before stepping out of the Edward Street salon where she was hit and killed by a council bus.
Yeah, our last phone call was, "I love you and I'll see you soon."
It's taken almost 3 months for Tia's boyfriend Hayden to build up the courage to speak about that day.
I still think, I'm still going to hear from her, I'm still going to see her, and the truth is it's not going to happen.
The pair were high school sweethearts meeting when they were 12 and 13 years old.
We had so much planned together to travel, to buy our first home, to have children, and it was all there until this happened.
After months of investigations yesterday, 70-year-old bus driver Lindsay Selby was charged with careless driving causing Tia's death and injuring 4 other people when he mounted the footpath.
He hasn't reached out to any of us to give his apology of anything, which is really upsetting.
Is there a reason why you haven't reached out to him?
Listen, mate, this is a very difficult situation for me. There's more than one victim here, and that's all I've got to say on the matter.
A visible reminder of what happened here on Edward Street remains in place. Friends of Tia Cameron pinning up this sign, bright and vibrant, they say, like her personality. Hayden says the love of his life will always be by his side.
I put her on every shirt that we make now just because I want to keep her name alive.
As for the driver, Lindsay Selby, he will front court on June 26. Bailey Kenzie, 9 News.
Convicted wife killer Andrew Cobby has cross-examined a forensic scientist from Queensland's embattled DNA lab as he fights for an appeal. He's the state's first killer to challenge his conviction after flawed testing was revealed at the forensic facility. He claims new DNA evidence has been found after the murder weapon, a hammer, was retested. Cobby was convicted of killing his estranged wife Kim on the Gold Coast in 2017.
We've got faith in the justice system and we'll let justice prevail.
A decision on the appeal will be handed down at a later date.
After a week on the run, a 28-year-old driver has handed himself into police. The man was wanted over a fatal crash in Wacol that killed 30-year-old Ryan Grafton, who was the passenger in an Uber. Police say this is the man caught on CCTV running from the scene. Investigations are ongoing and charges are yet to be laid.
Dog walkers and yoga teachers would be fast-tracked under a draft proposal from Jobs and Skills Australia that leaves vital tradies waiting in line. Tonight, the opposition going on the attack, claiming the migration strategy flies in the face of the need to boost housing supply and tackle the cost of living.
Australia needs more homes and more tradies to build them.
We certainly need more skilled construction workers to address the skilled shortage. That's absolutely correct.
But tonight, a new draft list of fast-track professions for migration prioritises poochers and posers over plumbers.
As priority sectors, I can assure you we include
as the top priority for this government, the housing and construction sector.
Jobs and Skills Australia releasing a draft list of professions to be fast-tracked: engineers, medical workers, industrial scientists, teachers, dog handlers and yoga instructors. Definitely not on the list managers, artists, finance workers or traditional and natural health workers. Builders, plumbers and roofers, all considered maybe.
We have to house all Australians. We cannot build homes with wellness instructors.
You think as the country battles through the largest skill shortage that we will bequeath, they would have something to say about skills. We're also giving more support to apprentices and employers.
If he could just calm down, take deep breaths, find his inner self.
Peak Bodies insisting thousands of tradies need to be given migration priority until a new generation can be trained on the tools.
Australia is desperate for tradies. It's simple as that. Migration is the short-term solution.
But more migration will need more homes. The opposition is vowing to cut migration, but tonight adamant that tradies would still be prioritised.
They would be at the top of our list. We want to see more of those tradies.
Charles Croucher, 9 News.
Well, there's one more sleep to go until our mighty Maroons take on New South Wales for Game 1 of State of Origin in what will be a hostile environment at Sydney's Accor Stadium. Deep in enemy territory is where we find Jacob Chico this evening. Jacob, final preparations have taken place.
Melissa, Billy's boys took to the field this afternoon for their captain's run, their final training session, ahead of tomorrow night's highly anticipated State of Origin series opener. The side will be looking to secure Origin glory for the third year in a row, but here in enemy territory, it won't be easy getting over that first hurdle. The good news is, though, the side is very confident and they won't be doing it alone. Plenty of fans here who bleed maroon are already here in Sydney making noise, and plenty more are on the way. Origin Eve and our Maroons are ready for battle. The time for talk is almost over, and in the backyard of our great rivals, Queensland is ready to make loyal and loud fans proud.
Up Queensland!
And when you're deep in enemy territory, you're always going to need some backup.
Queenslander!
In Blues heartland this morning, somewhat surprisingly, there were more friends than foes, the Maroon army growing strong.
Absolute stoked, man. Super keen, super ready for the big one. Get behind the boys.
I reckon it's going to be a whitewash, mate.
Tensions high with one more sleep until kick-off.
Yeah, the Queenslanders! Go the Queenslanders!
Where did that come from?
Go the Queenslanders!
We've got a standoff here in Parramatta. The Premier issuing a challenge of his own.
So I've challenged Minzy. I've said if New South Wales win, I'll wear a Blues jersey for the day. So long as if Queensland win, he'll wear a Maroons jersey.
And has he responded?
It's fair to say he's not super keen, and I don't blame him.
If history's taught us anything, Billy's boys won't be deterred by the barrage of blue, instead buoyed by their brotherhood as they attempt to get past the first hurdle and secure Origin glory. And set to make his debut, Harvey Bay's Jermaine Hopgood, and Mum couldn't be prouder.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah. It's been an emotional week, but he deserves everything. He's worked so hard for all this. One night he cried himself to sleep when Thurston and Bowen and all them lost.
His hero now beside him as he enters the Origin arena.
A bit like myself, you know, when we lost the series, I'd be in tears as well. So that's what this game means to the people of the States.
Jacob Chico, 9 News.
Australia will soon be defended by foreign nationals as part of a radical plan to solve the military's recruitment problem. But the governments had to clarify which countries will qualify and whether China would make the cut to plug the 5,000 troop shortfall.
Defence has spent millions promoting the military life.
There's no stopping us until mission success.
The excitement, the travel and camaraderie. But too few are responding to the call-up.
We are crossing the Rubicon of allowing non-citizens to join the Australian Defence Force.
Australia's Army, Navy and Air Force to soon welcome foreign recruits. From the 1st of July, Kiwis will be able to join the ADF. And from January next year, Americans, Brits and Canadians, provided they've been permanent residents for at least 12 months and they take up Australian citizenship within 90 days of signing up. The government's already flagged that Pacific Islanders might also join the ADF.
Thank you, sir.
The Minister for Defence Personnel, Matt Keogh, today even more ambitious, saying all foreigners could enlist.
From 1 January next year, any permanent resident in Australia who has been here for at least 1 year would be able to apply.
Richard Miles was asked whether a permanent resident from China, for example, might qualify.
We're really focusing on Five Eyes countries and then the Pacific.
It should be a list of countries that are acceptable rather than a prohibition list.
It's a dog's breakfast.
The opposition saying the government's policy was confused.
Labor's plan to recruit migrants into the Defence Force is a half-baked idea. There was no debate, there was no discussion. They've just dropped this morning without any notice.
There are no bounds that they won't cross in order to run a scare campaign.
The opposition has, in the past, also endorsed foreign enlistment. But with such a major change to defence recruitment, the government needed to land this policy with a lot more precision. Andrew Probyn, 9 News.
Israel's military has confirmed the deaths of 4 more hostages abducted by Hamas on October 7, all men aged between 51 and 85. It's heightened pressure on the Israeli government to agree to the ceasefire deal announced by the US president this week.
A ceasefire would see an end to the daily death toll in Gaza, an end to the destruction that has torn so many families apart. It would bring home the hostages who have now been separated from their loved ones for 240 days.
It's believed around 80 hostages are still being held in Gaza. 9 News can give you an exclusive first look tonight at the program for Brisbane Festival ahead of its official launch tomorrow.
The city will host hundreds of free performances along with a number of brand new attractions.
Welcoming spring with a bang. Riverfire will once again open this year's Brisbane Festival, a citywide celebration of arts and culture made up of over 1,000 performances.
Every year it's the challenge to make it bigger, better, more shiny.
The headliner, John Paul Gaultier's Fashion Freak Show, making its Australian premiere.
It's the most incredible spectacle of fashion, dance, circus, cabaret, music. It is exclusive to Brisbane, so I'm sorry for those southern states. You're going to have to come up here and see what it's all about.
Among 13 world debuts, children's musical Fancy Long Legs, created by Brisbane tinsel queen Rachel Burke, whose designs have been worn by the likes of Kate Blanchett and Harry Styles.
You can expect to be wowed. It's going to be a true spectacle.
Lightscape makes a return in the City Botanic Gardens. The Art Boat also back with a family-friendly burlesque cast on board.
This year's festival is expected to attract a record-breaking 1.7 million visitors, injecting more than $46 million into the economy.
The whole country will be looking at Brisbane, and that's exactly what we want.
It's just incredible when the city comes alive like this.
Brisbane Festival runs for 23 days from August 30. Claire Todd-Hunter, 9 News.
Reduced to tears, why the man who led the US through COVID breaks down.
The surprise link between fruit and depression.
Plus, Brisbane's biggest penthouse hits the market. We take you inside at the end of sports.
And the new Moderna vaccine halving melanoma deaths. We know fruit is good for our physical health, and now there's evidence to suggest it's also good for our mental health. Australian researchers from Healthy Brain Ageing found a high consumption of fruit could reduce the risk of depression. Citrus fruits are thought to be the most beneficial.
America's former top public health official has been grilled over his response to the pandemic. Appearing before Congress, Dr. Anthony Fauci was forced to deny that he suppressed a theory the virus was leaked from a Chinese laboratory.
Dr. Anthony Fauci is the face of America's response to COVID. Today, he was under the microscope.
Do you agree that there was a push to downplay the lab leak theory?
Not on my part.
Really?
Really?
Dr. Fauci, a public health official for 50 years, hitting out at what he says are conspiracies.
It's a false accusation that I tried to cover up the possibility that the virus originated from a lab.
Testifying on Capitol Hill in the sights of Republicans who accuse him of lying and blame him for health restrictions.
He belongs in prison.
Dr. Fauci's pandemic time boss was Donald Trump.
I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute.
Democrats argue Republicans are bowing to the former president.
They're treating you, Dr. Fauci, like a convicted felon. Actually, you probably wish they were treating you like a convicted felon. They treat convicted felons with love and admiration.
Dr. Fauci fell out with Donald Trump. Today, he was mocked as he spoke about being the target of death threats.
every time someone gets up and says I'm responsible for the death of people throughout the world, the death threats go up.
That man, identified as Brandon Fellows, recently released after being jailed over the January 6 attack on the Capitol.
What's somebody like that doing at a hearing about COVID?
More than 1.2 million Americans died with COVID. Dr. Fauci says there's more evidence the virus started in animals, but he's open to the possibility it may have leaked from a laboratory in Wuhan, China.
Look at the facts. I've kept an open mind throughout the entire process.
In the United States, Jonathan Kersley, 9 News.
A trial of a world-first personalised vaccine for melanoma is offering fresh hope in the fight against skin cancer. The mRNA jab, developed by Moderna, was administered along with immunotherapy and was found to halve the risk of patients dying or the disease returning. More money in your pocket. Tonight, the new cost of living bill buster. We speak to the experts on how you can lock in a discount on all your household bills. That story is ahead. The $2 billion NDIS wrought, from flashy cars to holidays, even drugs, where taxpayers' money is really going.
The Aussie honoured 80 years on from the D-Day landings.
Plus, Coles celebrates 25 years online. You won't believe what they're offering customers.
And a cheeky boy steals the floor during his dad's speech. There are fresh warnings tonight about NDIS money being misused to pay for holidays, cars, alcohol and even drugs. The National Disability Insurance Agency warns at least $2 billion in funds are being falsely claimed by participants, usually egged on by dodgy providers.
Providers that are going out of their way to put people in harm's way, they've commoditised those participants and their plans.
The government says more than 200 active fraud investigations are underway.
As we approach the 80th anniversary of the D-Day landings, the first Australian to lose their life on Juno Beach is being honoured.
Richard Peary's name will be inscribed on a memorial in Normandy to represent the thousands of Australians who were there on the grim day that changed history.
In the heart of London, at the cenotaph where kings and queens have laid wreaths for over a century, there's now one with a very Australian flavour. Michael Peary is here to honour his uncle, Richard.
He went from the centre line of the football field for Hawthorne to the front lines of the battlefield beaches of Normandy.
Richard Peary was a law student and talented VFL footballer when he joined up. On June 6, 1944, he was part of the world's largest ever amphibious assault, where 160,000 troops stormed the beaches at Normandy to liberate France from Nazi Germany. He was the first Australian killed on D-Day, and now he'll be the first Australian to have his name etched on Britain's Normandy Memorial Wall, representing the 3,300 diggers who've often been overlooked for their role on the day.
Finally, 80 years after D-Day, an Australian digger, my uncle, our digger, will be on the wall alongside the other Allied nations.
Michael will join the King and other dignitaries at a service in Portsmouth before the D-Day commemoration in France.
80 years on from D-Day, for somebody who is so passionate about sport, that the city and the country he helped to liberate will be hosting, Paris and France will be hosting the Olympic Games, the world's biggest sporting event dedicated to peace. Yeah. So I think he'd feel that was a good thing.
In London, Brett McLeod, 9 News.
Politics is often branded as childish, and in this case, it's a label well-deserved. 6-year-old Guy has stolen the show in the US House of Representatives, pulling faces while his father was giving an impassioned speech.
We'd be well served to remember the long and cherished tradition we have in this country of settling our political differences at the ballot box. For nearly 2.5 centuries,
his father later said he'd told Guy to smile for his little brother.
Will he go comedy or tragedy or Parliament? Calling all beer during his popular Brisbane brew recalled from shelves. Find out why next.
Dreaming of your next getaway? The latest in luxury caravanning next.
Also ahead, cost of living bill buster, how you can lock in big discounts.
Plus, half-price deals and 150,000 birthday cakes on offer. How Coles is celebrating 25 years online. To Money Matters, and a breakfast staple is turning heads on the market. Global orange juice prices have soared. Finance editor Chris Kohler has the details.
A dip on the share market today, our index giving up 24 points, with resources stocks like Fortescue and Woodside leading the way down. And the Aussie dollar slipped ahead of tomorrow's all-important GDP figures. Our dollar buying 66 US cents, 61 euro cents and 52 British pence, still near two-week highs. Further afield, what is going on with orange juice? The price of frozen concentrated OJ is now 5 times higher than it was in 2020. The reason seems to be bad growing conditions in places like Brazil, but that'll cause a problem for a range of food and beverage manufacturers all over the world. By the way, some of you will remember that is the exact trade in the movie Trading Places. So sometimes life does imitate art.
The average price for unleaded petrol in Brisbane is $1.80, diesel is $1.95. The average on the Gold Coast, $1.86.
A Brisbane brewery is having its product pulled from shelves because of an above-average alcohol content. White Lies Brewing Company, based in Sumner and 17 Mile Rocks, recalling its Hazy Craze Sessions beverage. Excess carbonation causing some cans to bulge. It applies to products with a best before date of February the 1st, 2025. Customers are being told to contact the company for a reimbursement.
Coles Online is turning 25 this week, and what better way to celebrate than with their famous mud cakes? The supermarket is giving away 150,000 cakes to customers for free. To take a slice of the deal, enter the code word CAKE at the checkout on online orders of $50 or more. And if you'd prefer to celebrate with savings, there will be hundreds of half-price specials available online with bonus flyby points for shoppers.
If you're looking for an excuse to hit the open road, this weekend could be the perfect time to shop around. The Caravanning and Outdoor Super Show rolling into Brisbane with something for everyone.
Whether you're a camper, a glamper, or want to take a trip back in time, there's a recreational vehicle for you.
There's a product that suits every single lifestyle choice and every budget.
The annual Caravanning and Outdoor Super Show has taken over the RNA showgrounds. More than 1,000 caravans and almost 250 exhibitors setting up shop for the 5-day event.
We've got accessories, we've got tent trailers, camper trailers, caravans, motorhomes, slide-ons, rooftop tents and all the accessories that go with it.
Caravans have been crisscrossing the country for decades, but a renewed focus on comfort is now seeing companies pivot from off-road campers to on-road tourers.
So we kind of saw that shift during COVID, so it's something new for us, and hopefully we'll kick it off pretty well.
But despite the years, vintage vans are still proving popular.
We think caravanning should be a really happy place. You should just be smiling the whole time, so it should be a happy space to be in, and so they're all nice bright colours.
The cheapest models on display start at around $25,000.
If you've got a bit more cash, this is what $500,000 can get you. This motorhome has enough solar power to run for a week. Your washing won't be a problem. There's a washing machine and a dryer. Early mornings will be made easier with a coffee machine, and this whole wall can slide out to give you a total of 3 metres space inside.
The event runs from tomorrow until Sunday, with organisers expecting around 50,000 people through the gates.
Bluey's going to be here at the show on the weekend for the kids.
Pat Heaney, 9 News.
Let the battle begin. Billy Slater booed in enemy territory. We're live to Maroon's camp next. The kids who went berserk for sporting royalty, who was it?
Plus, at the end of sport, we take you inside Brisbane's biggest penthouse with a jaw-dropping price tag.
And after a cold start to your Tuesday, it turned out to be a beautiful blue sky day. Still those daytime temperatures a little below average, and that'll be the trend for the week, but your forecast is looking pretty good.
Incredibly fun, remarkably functional, and effortlessly stylish. Introducing the all-new Ford Puma. A compact SUV that really packs a punch. Looking good has never been this easy. Secure yours today. The all-new Ford Puma. Effortlessly stylish.
Good evening. The Maroons are weighing up making a late change to their side for the State of Origin series opener. Adam Jackson is live at Accor Stadium. AJ, you've had a special look behind the scenes.
It really is the calm before the storm at the moment here at Accor Stadium. Jono, stadium empty, but come tomorrow night, these stands will be filled with about 80,000 screaming fans. Now, the Maroons have actually just left the field here after holding their final training run. I've spoken to QRL officials who have told me that all players got through unscathed and there are no injury concerns. But Maroons coach Billy Slater is strongly considering making a late change to his team by tinkering with the makeup of the starting 13 for this series opener here in Sydney. Searching for every advantage possible ahead of Game 1, several Maroons players used their morning off to take a trip to the New South Wales Institute of Sport. Not all Sydney-siders so welcoming, with Billy Slater's media conference interrupted by Blues fans.
I'm excited. I'm nervous like anyone else. It's state of origin.
The Maroons coach is considering making a late change by promoting one of his bench forwards into the starting side.
We're all across that, the whole team. I'm not going to stand here and tell you exactly how we're going to play.
Aiming for a third straight series win, Slater won't let complacency creep in, admitting he's just as nervous as ever.
Whenever I've done something that I care about, nerves are natural, I feel. I certainly don't feel comfortable or complacent. I don't feel that within the team. I don't know why you would when you're playing for this team.
While the Maroons allowed cameras inside Accor Stadium to capture vision of their final training run, the Blues banned all cameras as Michael Maguire rules with an iron fist ahead of his first game in charge for New South Wales.
The roller coaster, it's been excellent. I've been waiting for this, and to get the role, and it's something there that I've always thought about and wanted to do.
Rookie Blues halfback Nico Hines also faces a baptism of fire.
There's no particular individual that we'll be isolating or trying to zone in on. It's a pressure environment, so everyone will be under pressure.
Including the Blues' new captain, who's struggling to shed his nice guy image.
Do you have a message of hate towards I don't have any messages of hate. We're just going to go out and compete really hard tomorrow night, and we're going to do New South Wales proud.
In Sydney, Adam Jackson, 9 News.
Of course, tomorrow night isn't the only Origin clash this week. The Maroons women arriving in Newcastle this afternoon ahead of their Origin 2. With the Blues stealing Game 1 at Suncorp Stadium, Queensland must win on Thursday night to send the series to the women's first genuine decider in Townsville. Both Origin matches exclusively live and free right here on 9. The Matildas have unveiled their team for the Olympics, and it's a squad of familiar faces, and our stars now vowing to bring home a medal from Paris. The Tillies had the perfect farewell party, a full house as they beat China in Sydney.
Tickets in hand, it's all aboard the Matildas Express. Next stop, Paris.
This team is full of trailblazers and history makers.
And throw in crowd pleasers as well. Cheered out of their hotel this morning on Judgment Day. Just 18 players, Steph Catley taking over as captain from the injured Sam Kerr. A team full of experience. 8 players competing at their third Olympics, including vice-captain Emily Van Egmond, Ellie Carpenter and Caitlin Ford. For 6 players, it will be their second Olympics, among them Mary Fowler and Katrina Gorry, who's been battling an ankle injury. There are 4 Olympic debutantes, Claire Hunt, Caitlin Torpey, Claire Wheeler and Courtney Vine.
There's a couple of fresh faces, a couple of stalwarts, a very familiar team.
But there was one name missing on the team sheet, the retiring Indigenous goalkeeper Lydia Williams. Last night, the veteran was given an emotional send-off. Tennis great Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley wrapping a ceremonial buka around her shoulders.
Thank you, everyone.
So we've got a team and now it's their turn to make history. And while we've gone close, the Matildas have never won an Olympic medal. 4th in Tokyo, but determined to go at least one better in Paris.
Damien Ryan, 9 News.
The Reds have completed their final training session before jetting off to New Zealand for their quarterfinals clash with the Chiefs. It's deja vu for Queensland. The two sides also facing off in the quarterfinals in Hamilton last season, with the Reds sent packing.
I think that's really built us to how we're going to go this year. All the boys are really focused this week. They all came in with a big smile on their faces yesterday. There was a lot of chatter around the group, so they're all very excited to get across there. No Australian team has ever won a Super Rugby finals match in New Zealand.
Alex de Minaur is through to the quarterfinals of the French Open after recovering from a set down to storm past fifth seed Daniil Medvedev. Prior to this year, the Australian had won just 3 matches in 7 appearances at Roland Garros, but has now found a new love of the red clay.
It's one of my best slam results, so looks like I've converted myself into a clay specialist.
De Minaur was again cheered on by a young French fan who's become his good luck charm and who'll be again courtside for the quarterfinal against Alexander Zverev. How happy would you be for a visit from Adam Reynolds? Well, probably not quite as happy as this. The injured Broncos skipper leading a small club touring party to Papua New Guinea, where their passion for rugby league is just as infectious as their smiles. I'll chat to you tomorrow from Sydney. Hopefully it's not from underneath an umbrella.
OK, let's hope so. Thanks, Phil. To breaking news now, and a home is right now up in flames at Barden. This is video just into the newsroom. 4 crews are on scene at the Rosalie Street property with more on the way. It's understood that everyone inside has evacuated. We'll bring you more as it comes into the newsroom.
A unique apartment in the heart of the city is vying to become the most expensive home ever sold in Brisbane. Featuring jaw-dropping panoramic views, the lavish penthouse has been described as one of the best in the Southern Hemisphere.
It's 1,212 square metres, nestled 190 metres above the city. Marketed as Brisbane's biggest apartment, and for the first time in 18 years, it's up for sale.
It's got 360-degree panoramic views. Generally in Brisbane, when people hunt a view, it's either a river or a city view. This has it all.
The luxury apartment is being sold by Brisbane Lions patron John Pearce and his wife Sandra. Their children have moved out and they're ready for new owners to move in. For the right price, of course.
Featuring 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms and 8 car parks, this apartment is expected to become the most expensive home ever sold in Brisbane.
The current record is a new farmhouse that sold for $20.5 million last year. But from this home you can see every landmark in the city. From an entertaining point of view, the long list of sporting royalty who have graced these floors are as grand as the apartment itself. Tennis legend Rod Laver, West Indies cricketing great Sir Garfield Sobers, Australian Test teams and several Brisbane Lions sides.
It's pretty amazing sitting here being able to visualise who you could entertain if you owned it.
Personally, I might need to win Lotto first. Cam Inglis, 9 News.
In just 3 minutes, how you can save big on your household bills. The expert advice, putting money back in your pocket. That cost of living special is next. But firstly, here's Gary with a quick check on the weather. Gaz, that was a cold morning we had in the city today.
It certainly was, Lofty. The coldest morning so far. The city did wake up to 8 degrees this morning. I think it'll be slightly cool tomorrow morning because it's already down to 12.5 degrees. Not expecting to break any records. That went to the 28th of June back in 2002, where the city woke up to just 5 degrees. But it'll be a cold start to your Wednesday. Forecast next.
You may have heard about the advantages of haggling on appliances such as white goods to get the best price, but did you know you can negotiate your household bills too? With the cost of living continuing to bite, some savvy Queenslanders are saving hundreds a year, and it's easier than you might think.
When Karen Pearce's home insurance bill unexpectedly skyrocketed, she knew she had to take action.
I thought, wow, that's just ridiculous.
So she called her provider, and within 24 hours she saved 10%.
In some bills you might only save $50, but another bill you'll save $200, and it all adds up.
Karen routinely haggles to get the best deal on her household bills, and experts say we should all be doing it.
Bill providers certainly have wiggle room to move. If you don't ask, you don't get.
But if you don't feel confident, Effie Zahos from CanStar says armed with a few insider tips, you can not only save, but get added extras as well. The first step is to look at your household bills and see exactly what you're actually paying for before jumping on the phone.
When you call up, it's always important to remain calm and be nice, because let's face it, you know, if you are nice, chances are that they're going to be nice.
If you're not getting anywhere, ask to speak with the manager or the customer retention team.
And sometimes if you don't get an actual dollar discount, there are other sweeteners that they can offer too. And it could be in the form of a discount voucher, a grocery voucher.
Effie recommends knowing what competitors are offering and see if they'll match it or offer you a new customer deal to reward you for your loyalty.
You can start by focusing on one bill a week or even a month to make sure you get the most out of your savings. For annual bills, the best time to haggle is when they're due for renewal. If you don't get a better deal, be prepared to walk away because it could mean more money in your pocket. It does not hurt to try and ask for a discount. What's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to say no.
Ebony Cavallaro, 9 News.
Switch on a Daikin Alira X split system with advanced streamer technology to remove more than 99% of harmful indoor air pollutants and surround yourself with cleaner air this summer. Daikin, perfecting the air.
Time now for your full weather forecast with Gary Youngberry. Gaz, are these beautiful days going to last?
Oh, they are, Melissa. The forecast for the next 7 days is looking good. It's really only Thursday afternoon, late in the day, the possibility of a shower, but it'll be back to blue skies again Friday, and the weekend looking fantastic. We'll get to that in a moment, but I can assure you it is chilly in the city this evening, just dropping below 12.5 degrees right now, so a cold start to your Wednesday. Let's have a look at temperatures right across southeast Queensland. Today, as we mentioned, 8 degrees in the city at 6:15 this morning. Both Coolangatta and the Sunshine Coast airports dropped to 6 degrees, 2 degrees in Ipswich. Daytime temperatures, well, 22 today was the max, and that was Gatton, Ipswich and also in the city. To the weather map, a low pressure system forming off the New South Wales coast will bring showers to eastern New South Wales and Victoria, showers for southern South Australia in onshore winds. For the capitals, sunny and 23 in Perth, a shower or 2 and 15 for Melbourne, showers in Sydney and Canberra, sunny in Darwin and 32 degrees. Now for Queensland, sunny and warm for Cairns and Townsville, partly cloudy Mackay, Rocky, Gladstone with the chance of a late shower. Partly cloudy, low 20s for Bundy, Maryborough, Gympie. Sunny and cool inland for Mount Isa and Longreach. Chance of a shower or 2 in Roma. Here in the southeast, partly cloudy, just a slight chance of an inland shower. Light winds, looking good on the coast again tomorrow. It will be a cold morning, but daytime temperatures just reaching into the low 20s for most of the suburbs. Moreton Bay, another magic day. Westerlies 5 to 10 knots. The seas less than half metre. Brizzy, nothing more than partly cloudy skies. Light winds, now that low forecast of 8 degrees, it's likely to get slightly lower than that with a top of 22. 7-day outlook, Thursday starting out fine, just the chance of a late shower. Sunny Friday, 21. A sunny weekend, 21 Saturday, 22 Sunday and Monday. Ipswich, sunny morning Thursday, possible late shower. Back to blue skies Friday and 21. Magic weekend, 22 Saturday, 23 on Sunday. For the Gold Coast, sunny start to Thursday with an afternoon shower. Mostly sunny Friday and 21. A beautiful weekend, although the morning's chilly, still up to about 21 each day with light winds. The Sunshine Coast, an afternoon shower likely Thursday, fine again Friday and 21. And look at that weekend, sunshine, blue skies, light winds, 22 degrees expected for Saturday and again on Sunday. So very little rainfall in the outlook, just those cool mornings, but beautiful blue sky days, guys.
Enjoying them. Thanks, Gary. Before we go, here's a look at a story you won't want to miss on 9 News tomorrow night.
An eye scan to detect cancer.
Discovered a lump in my lower back, which turned out to be a malignant melanoma.
The device that turns your mobile phone into an early warning system.
2/3 of Australians by the age of 70 are going to have some form of skin cancer.
9 News, your news tomorrow.
And that is 9 News Queensland for this evening. Ali Langdon is next with a current affair.
Thanks for your company from all of us. Good night.
Good night.